On August 21st, 2025, the internet woke up to a story about Lil Nas X that was so bizarre, so shocking, it felt like a collective fever dream. In the pre-dawn hours of a Thursday in Los Angeles, a single cryptic video began to spread that would ignite a firestorm of confusion, concern, and wild speculation. This wasn't a planned music video or a meticulously crafted photo shoot. This was a public spectacle that ended in a shocking confrontation, a police arrest, and an emergency unlike anything we've ever seen from a star of his caliber.
But here's where the story gets complicated. With Lil Nas X, the line between reality and performance is always blurred. Is this his most brilliant and unhinged marketing stunt to date? Or is it a terrifying public breakdown of an artist at his breaking point? The truth is far more complex and disturbing than you can imagine. To really get it, we need to break down the entire timeline, because what went down on Ventura Boulevard is a puzzle that has everyone asking the same question. What is actually going on with Lil Nas X? The whole thing kicked off around 4 a.m. in Studio City. Cell phone footage, which TMZ got their hands on almost immediately, captured a scene that was deeply unsettling. There, walking down the middle of Ventura Boulevard, was 26-year-old Montero Hill, the man the world knows as Lil Nas X. His only attire? White underwear and a pair of cowboy boots. In the clips, he appears dazed, mumbling to the person filming about a party. "Hey, don't be late to the party tonight." When asked where it is, he just replies cryptically, "You know where it's at," before strutting and singing down the empty street. At one point, he grabs the driver's phone, threatening to throw it. In another moment, he plops an orange traffic cone on his head and strikes poses. Now I see the comments already. Someone like Nateman79 said, "Since when is this weird for Los Angeles?" And you're not wrong. LA is a weird place. As at LCC1902 pointed out, there's a guy in Times Square who walks around like this every day. But I have to be clear, this was different. This wasn't a street performer. This was one of the biggest, most meticulously curated superstars on the planet, looking completely and utterly lost. This clearly wasn't just a weird LA moment. Multiple witnesses, worried for his safety, called 911. A little before 6 a.m., LAPD officers arrived, and this is where the story takes its first dark turn. This is the first bombshell. According to official police statements, when officers tried to approach Lil Nas X, he didn't cooperate. He charged at them. A law enforcement source confirmed he had to be subdued after rushing the officers, leading to his arrest. Suddenly, this went from a bizarre wellness check to a criminal incident. The arrest sent shockwaves across the internet. But for anyone who has followed his career, it also sparked a huge cynical question. This brings us to the comments from people like Jonas Brothers Girl Love, who said, "This is too perfect and sounds exactly like how he'd be getting ready to promote music." Another user, LJuan5000, even did their own digging. I had to Google it. It's a promo, and TMZ is in on it. His singles on the album are Late to the Party and Star Walkin'. Come on. And honestly, this is a completely fair assumption. You cannot understand this incident without understanding that Lil Nas X is the ultimate provocateur. This is the guy who took Old Town Road to the longest-running #1 spot in history while coming out as gay at the peak of his fame. He masterminded the Montero video, where he slid down a stripper pole to give Satan a lap dance, sending his enemies into a meltdown. He released the Satan shoes with Nike's logo, sparking a massive lawsuit. He framed his J-Christ era by depicting himself on the cross. His entire brand is built on calculated chaos. He announced his first album with a pregnancy photo shoot, for crying out loud. So is this just another elaborate stunt? It fits the pattern perfectly. He had just wiped his Instagram and was teasing new music. But here is the second and most critical bombshell of the entire story, the one detail that shatters the "it's just a promo" theory. After his arrest, Lil Nas X wasn't just taken to jail. He was rushed to a local hospital for a suspected drug overdose. He was treated for several hours before being discharged into police custody. This wasn't a character. This wasn't a bit. This was a medical emergency. That hospital visit changes everything. The narrative online immediately fractured into two camps. On one side, you have the skeptics. A user named Shelby Silverstein summed it up perfectly. "That boy ain't high, he's trolling. New music coming soon? Y'all know his antics, child." I get it. He's conditioned us to believe everything is part of the show. But the other side of the internet saw this for what it likely was, a crisis. Users like DWile2137 wrote, "I don't know of any drugs that have these effects. He could just be experiencing a mental health episode. Poor guy." And Dark Raven in the Sun 1061 added, "This is an example of a person having a manic episode. It's not always drugs. He's having a mental crisis."
And frankly, this is where I land. My opinion, this stopped being a stunt the moment he was put in an ambulance. This looks like a genuine and terrifying cry for help from someone buckling under the pressure of the very persona he created. We also have to call out the media machine here. As Nikki D3572 rightly said, TMZ acting like they care about his well-being is so funny. This is the sick cycle of celebrity crisis. The same outlets that exploit the breakdown then turn around and sell you the story of their recovery.
This isn't the first time he's been open about his health. He's talked about his past struggles with depression and hypochondria. This paints a picture of an artist whose confident, in-control persona may have been masking a very real battle. This incident is so much bigger than one artist on one night. It forces a conversation about the impossible pressures of modern fame. We've seen this story before with other icons. Think of the public unraveling of Britney Spears in 2007, or the erratic behavior that has defined much of Kanye West's career. These are artists who blurred the line between their art and their life, and eventually, that line snapped in the most public way imaginable, all while the world watched, judged, and turned their pain into memes. Lil Nas X isn't just a pop star. He's a trailblazer who shattered barriers for Black, queer artists in the mainstream. He took on country music, hip-hop, and conservative critics and won. He proved you could be openly and unapologetically gay and have a monster hit like Industry Baby. He was always in control of the narrative, but that level of control comes at a cost. My bold take is this. This was not a controlled demolition. This was an uncontrolled explosion. I don't believe this was a marketing plan. I believe this is the tragic, inevitable outcome when an artist, a human being, spends years living as a lightning rod. You can only absorb so many shocks before the system overloads. The line between Lil Nas X the icon and Montero Hill the person was erased. And what we saw on Ventura Boulevard was the devastating fallout.
From a bizarre walk down a boulevard to a police takedown and an emergency hospitalization, the story of Lil Nas X's public crisis is a sobering and complicated tragedy. We've watched an artist known for his iron grip on his image seemingly lose all control. It's a stark reminder of the human being behind the persona.
But now, this is where I have to turn it over to you, because the debate is raging, and this is the only place it's really happening. I've laid out the two dominant theories. This was either the most genius, high-stakes promotional stunt in music history, or it was a tragic mental health crisis playing out in public. Looking at all the facts, the cryptic party invitation, the history of elaborate hoaxes, the police charge, and the shocking suspected overdose, which theory do you believe? The comments section is going to be a war zone of opinions, evidence, and speculation, and you are missing out if you're not in there. Drop your take and argue your case. Is this the beginning of his greatest comeback or the tragic end of an era? Let me know below.